So April just seemed to be like a total lull month for me, so I just decided to fill that void by buying more manga. Hello all of my otaku friends, my name is Profitaku, and welcome back to my channel for my April 2024 manga haul. We have a ton of new volume 1 releases, a highly anticipated conclusion to one of my favorite series of all time, and a reprint of a classic baseball shonen series that I am just so glad to finally have in my collection. Stay tuned. Before we get started today, I do want to talk about where I get all of my manga from. All my Yen Press titles are sent directly to me from Yen Press to showcase off on the channel for review purposes. As always, thanks so much to Calissa and the team for continuing to support this channel. For physical in-store purchases, I purchase from Books A Million, but the majority of my manga haul comes from Mary Manga Company, my go-to place online retailer for buying manga at a discounted price. Carl is a phenomenal business owner and he does everything right for the manga community. Highly recommend him. I am not sponsored anyway by Mary Manga Company. I just want to make sure I put some new places on y'all's radar to be able to purchase manga. So let's start off here with the smaller publishers. First off, we have March Comes In Like a Lion Volume 2. We've been waiting quite a while for this Volume 2 and it is such a beautiful release by Denpa with these beautiful French flaps, some great paper quality. A lot of love is going into this publication, so I really don't care how long they take to do this. They are doing all of the right things. Plus, I do have the Volume 2 limited edition dust jacket coming in that was created by Miura Sensei, who is the person who did Berserk. That is super cool, and I just cannot wait to dive into this volume. Next up from Dark Horse, only one volume this month, we have Oh My Goddess Omnibus Volume 7, a classic rom-com series following this guy who's down on his luck and he wishes for a companion, and this goddess shows up by his side and they get into crazy hijinks together. I thoroughly enjoyed chapter 1 and I'm super glad that Dark Horse is continuing to print this series physically. I do want to shout out Dark Horse for the paper quality of these omnibuses. They are fantastic, super bright and white. The artwork is really popping out and it just feels really nice in the hand. From Square Enix, we have volume 10 of A Man and His Cat. If you love cats, you're gonna love this. If you like music manga, you're gonna love this. If you want a feel-good story, you're gonna love this. It's fantastic all the way around, a surprising dark horse in my collection. From Seven Seas, we only have 2 volumes here. First up is Made in Abyss Volume 12, still in the saran wrap, but Made in Abyss is probably my favorite world of all time in my manga collection. I just think it is so unique, so messed up, with you going through all these different layers with these children characters, and you can't go back up unless you're going to die, and they're exploring what is that 7th layer, twists and turns, crazy characters. This is a phenomenal series and I cannot recommend it enough. And we also have another omnibus here, volumes 19 and 20 of Tokyo Revengers, probably my favorite color scheme to date from Tokyo Revengers. Of course, I am absolutely loving this shonen time travel series, Delinquents, beat 'em up gangs. You just can't beat it. I can't wait to see where this series is going and what kind of direction it takes as we get more towards that controversial ending. From the Kodansha vertical conglomerate, we have several different volumes and series here. First up is volume 16 of Blood on the Tracks, the penultimate volume. I cannot wait to see where this series ends up. It's been a really interesting last few volumes, especially with this new arc that's been going on. So we'll see how this wraps up. I hope that it's good. Here's a really interesting new volume 1, A Brief Moment of Achika. This is a 3-volume series and it follows this girl here who was given 2 years left to live, and one day she runs into her former teacher who just vanished, and this is just a really interesting story. I can't wait to see what kind of storytelling goes on here. Very nice release. So yeah, this is one I can't wait to dive into. From the creator of Blue Period comes their short story collection, Nude, Model, and Other Stories. This is just a one-shot here in this single volume. Very nice cover, love that feel of it. It's just got a really interesting grainy texture, and all of these stories, a little sneak peek into my reading log, all of these stories are phenomenal. I really enjoyed what the mangaka was trying to say with all these stories, and obviously this is a little bit more of a mature audience read, so I highly recommend you go into this with caution, but I really am intrigued by the messaging in here and the variety of different stories. So if you want a solid short story collection, representation, this is one for you. In the LGBTQ plus genre, we have The Moon on a Rainy Night. I am now up to date with this. I got volumes 3 and 4 of this series. I thoroughly enjoyed the first 2 volumes, following this girl who is hard of hearing as she's trying to navigate life, and then she encounters a friend who opens up her eyes to a new world. A fantastic series about representation and dealing with disabilities. Highly recommend. Here's a highly anticipated volume 1 everybody's been talking about. We have The Fable in the omnibus format, volumes 1 and 2, and it follows this guy who is a hitman, and he's just a very scary guy. Everybody across Japan fears him, and one day his boss calls him and says, yeah, you've got to go 1 year with no killing, and it's a comedy series about his struggles with that. So yeah, I can't wait to dive into this one. A beautiful release by Kodansha. I am really loving these oversized trim omnibuses as of late. They are really high quality and they look really nice on the shelf as well. A conclusion to a series here, volume 19 of Something's Wrong With Us, a historical fiction drama series, a romance series that I've heard a lot of great things about, and now that I have completed the series, I am very much looking forward to binging the whole thing at some point down the road this year. A new volume 1 sports series, we have Medalist. It follows a girl and a guy who are trying to be professional figure skaters. Seems really interesting. I'm always down to try new sports manga, and this one is very highly acclaimed, so I'm super excited to get into this one. And last up from Kodansha, we have King in Limbo volume 2 in the omnibus format, so we have one more omnibus after this. If you like Inception, if you like really interesting sci-fi, then this is going to be the one for you. A really intriguing mystery in a pandemic setting, following these people who are trying to discover this sleep thing that kills off people, makes people fall asleep and they never wake up. Very, very intriguing volume 1, and I cannot wait to dive into volume 2 and see what this story has to offer. From Yen Press, of course, I've got a fat stack of volumes to show y'all. First up is volume 5 of one of my favorite isekai series of all time, So What's Wrong with Getting Reborn as a Goblin. Good old-fashioned fun with a fantastic main character, fantastic world building, and really, really interesting character development. So yeah, this seems like a series that would be super dumb, but let me tell you, it is a series that I thoroughly enjoy reading. Next up is a fantasy series that is a manga adaptation of a light novel, Saint No, I'm Just a Passing Beast Tamer, following this girl who wants to become a beast tamer to pet all the fluffy things, even though she could be one of the most powerful people in this fantasy world. A very, very good series, very much turn your brain off, and in terms of the direction of the story, it's fine. It's just one of those things where if I just want to have a relaxing read, this is the series for me. Next up is a superhero manga, Shy Volume 6. This is a very long running series, which I did not realize. If you are looking for something like My Hero Academia, but definitely more of a darker turn, then I recommend Shy. I really enjoy this series, and I really like our main character and the power system as well. So yeah, if you are looking for something a little bit different, this is the one for you. Next up is a spin-off series, Bungo Stray Dogs 1 Volume 7, spin-off series in chibi format of all of our characters from the Bungo Stray Dogs universe. You know, same old spin-offs. Another penultimate volume here, we have Call the Name of the Night Volume 4. I thought Volume 3 was interesting in the direction that it took, but it follows this little girl who has this disease of the night, and when she gets really stressed out, she spreads this night across the land, and so it follows her recovery from this with her doctor friend that she lives with. Yeah, it's a good series. I want to see how this thing ends in 5 volumes. It's very much gives me the vibes of Witch Hat Atelier, if that is your cup of tea. Here is a one-shot. Here we have Fox Color Jealousy. I have no clue about this. It just is a BL with a furry on it, so we'll see if I like it. Here's a really interesting volume. We have My Gemini, something that a lot of people have been talking about on X, but it follows this boy right here, John, and he's best friends with this Jekyll and Hyde twin brother, and they love to pull pranks on people and switch places, but one day an untimely death of one of the brothers leaves the brother without his companion. So which brother is alive? Is it the Jekyll or the Hyde? It just seems really interesting. I can't wait to dive into this one. Here we are with the continuation of a series, volume 3 of Primal Gods in Ancient Times. If you're looking for a fantasy series about a cast of characters going around defeating spirits, then this is going to be the one for you. Another volume 3 here, we have The Summer Hikaru Died. This has been a really interesting horror series following this boy and his best friend, and one day the best friend dies and is taken over by some sort of alien monster thing, and they're trying to continue their friendship together. Very, very dark and messed up, and the artwork is really, really sick as well. So yeah, I can't wait to dive into this volume. Here's another saran wrap furry thing. My mate is a feline gentleman UK arc under. I have not dived into this series yet. It is definitely being put on that burner just to be able to read on a rainy day. We have some manhwa here to go over. Next up is volume 2 of See You in My 19th Life. I have not gotten started on this series, but many people have told me this is a fantastic manhwa series, so I'm super excited to have this in my collection. But in terms of manhwa I have read, we do have volume 6 of The Boxer by JH, probably my favorite manhwa that I've read of all time, which is ironic because I also love The Horizon, which is by the same creator. I would put them both at 1-2, to be honest with you. The Boxer is a fantastic sports manga with even better character development. So if you really, really like high, fast-paced action with great characters, this is going to be the one for you. Here with a light novel, we have Bofuri, I Don't Want to Get Hurt, So I'll Max Out My Defense, volume 12. I love the video game aspect to this. I think it's very well done. I really like seeing the OP powers of maxing out your defense and seeing what kind of hijinks our characters get into. And this is probably one of my favorite light novels to read just because it's so easy to read. The verbiage and the sentence structure is super simple, so it's not overbearing at all. Last up here is an art book slash sketchbook. This is volume 3 of Scribbles by Karu Mori. Very, very cool that we're getting continuous hardcover releases of this really, really, really interesting sketchbook from an acclaimed mangaka who does amazing work on different series such as Emma and A Bride Story, but very, very nice to have this in the collection. And the largest part of my haul this month came from Viz Media. First up, we have, I don't know how to say this, Magical Girls Incorporated, Volume 1 in the oversized trim. It's got magical girls, it's got badass fighting. I mean, it looks really, really cool. I've not read this volume yet, but I can't wait to dive into this one. I love Magical Girls series, and I just can't wait to see what kind of different take this series brings to the table. Next up is volume 2 of an omnibus neighborhood story by Ai Yazawa. I absolutely love this release from Viz Media. Such high quality, super, super cool that we're getting this prequel to Paradise Kiss in these beautiful editions. So yeah, I can't wait to dive into this manga very, very soon. Here we are with the most highly anticipated conclusion in my collection that I've had in quite a while, volume 9 of Alice in Borderland and the omnibus. So this compiles volume 17 and 18. What a ride this has been. Hopefully the landing sticks, but Alice in Borderland has been so enjoyable. So many crazy twists and turns in this post-apocalyptic death game series. So yeah, if you want something nuts, you gotta check this one out. One of my favorite romance series currently being published, Insomniac's After School Volume 5. It does everything right from the educational aspect of astronomy, these main characters being a phenomenal couple, and the progression is great. You're just totally rooting for them, and also combine that with amazing art and a really, really interesting character design. This is a series everybody needs to have in their collection. Next up here is Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt Volume 21. I am absolutely loving this series. I've now stockpiled 3 volumes, which should hopefully wrap up an entire arc so I can continue on with this series, but I love Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt. It is so sick, so politically driven, so interesting to see the motives of our characters in this really messed up mecha war. So yeah, of course, if you love Mobile Suit Gundam, this is a great one to get. Another highly anticipated conclusion, volume 28 of Kaguya-Sama, Love is War. I did read this volume online several months ago just to wrap up the series, so now I have it physically. Kaguya-Sama ended very, very well. A fantastic and beautiful bow on top of the rom-com present. That is Kaguya-Sama. I will miss this series. I will miss its characters. Probably my first rom-com I ever read, and one that I just kept going with because it's that good. Now here is the reprint I was very excited for and super excited to get it in great condition as well. We have Cross Game. This is Omnibus 4, Omnibus 5, Omnibus 7, and Omnibus 8 of this classic early 2000s baseball series. So this series has been out of stock for quite a while. I have had the first So this series has been out of stock for quite a while. I've had the first 3 volumes sitting on my shelf, so now I'm only missing volume 6. I'm assuming that's going to get reprinted at some point because we did get reprints of these. But yes, I really am excited for this series, and I know the mangaka does have a connection with Rumiko Takahashi, which is really cool. So yeah, just glad to almost have this complete in the collection. If you are interested in reading this digitally, it is on the Viz Manga app. Next up, we have 2 volumes of probably my favorite Shonen Jump series currently being published. We have Akane Banashi. I have volumes 4 and volume 5. I love the educational aspect about Rakugo. I think our main character is probably one of the best main characters ever written in manga, and she has a lot of redeeming qualities, and I love to see the progression of the story. Every volume is just action-packed, and it's so much fun to read. Series everybody's talking about, Frieren Beyond Journey's End volume 10. This puts 2 volumes on my TBR, so I think it's about time I get up to date with this series. But it's Frieren, it's great. I love the manga. I really do need to check out the anime, but you know, I was one of the OGs. Like, I read the first volume of the manga. I even did a review on the first volume of the manga before it got popular, so if that kind of puts me at the forefront. Speaking of what everybody knows, we have Spy Family volume 11. The new movie just came out, the Code White movie. I really want to watch it with my friends, but until that happens, I'm content with reading the manga. And last up is one of my favorite Shonen Jump series currently being published, Sakamoto Days volume 11. This cover hits hard, but this story hits even harder. I love our main character Sakamoto, and I love how this story is progressing, how many layers are being added to this story, along with the perfect timing of comedy, just that little sprinkle that makes me chuckle every time. But yes, I love Sakamoto Days, and you definitely need to put it on your radar. And that is my manga haul for the month of April 2024. A fantastic manga haul, to say the least. I can't wait to see what May brings. Definitely going to be a slow month for me, not anything that's really intriguing me to pick up. And as you can see, I have a pretty big TBR to get through. As always, if you enjoy the content of my videos, make sure you hit that like button, tap the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you know when more of my videos come out, and I will see you in the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.